Hey everyone, True here, and today we are going to take a look at the skills of the new Storm Rolotia, the second one in the game, and her skill set is a bit reminiscent of the first version of her, but there are some key differences and massive improvements to her skill set. The speed is not one of them though, because she has a speed of a whopping 1, which is the lowest speed in the entire game. So it might take a while until she gets her turn and is able to use one of her skills. The first of these active skills that she can use is Poison Shock, and it is quite simple. It poisons an enemy, it stuns it for 50 time units, it can be redirected to a stun absorber, and it produces 3 spirit and costs 100 time units. Not an amazing skill, but at least there is some significant spirit production, and generally she would hope to use her other skills anyways. One of which is Chrono Chaos. It is an instant skill, so she should get the turn immediately afterwards, and it costs 3 spirit, so that's quite a lot, but it makes sense because it does a huge amount of things. So on the one hand, it stuns all the enemies for 150 time units, and if there is no enemy stun absorber, all allies are purified. They are quickened by 30%, which is something that was never introduced before. So 30%, that is the highest general quicken skill we have seen so far, and all of these allies get granted the Sleep Ward. So this is clearly a counter to the rising sleep meta that we saw in the last unit releases. And this is a bit of a nerf to the skill. All allies also get stunned for 100 time units, and ally stun absorbers or stun wards or stun immunities are ignored by this, which basically makes it a 50 time unit stun to all your enemies in comparison to your allies. But TimeRolotia, of course, is outside of that, and she will get another turn straight away and then possibly be able to use the Giga Time Strike. Now this Giga Time Strike is an attack that attacks all enemies for 500% damage if they are above 99 time units in the time order, which after that Chrono Chaos should be a given if they are not stun immune or have a stun absorber on the enemy team. This attack ignores counter and skin passive effects, and allies lose 1 spirit for each enemy that is hit successfully by this. So if they have 100 or more time units, then allies will lose 1 spirit for each. So that means this attack could lose you up to 4 spirit. If the spirit would turn negative in that way, of course it will not turn negative, it will stop at 0, but then the skill becomes locked for 200 time units, but that doesn't seem too bad, because this skill actually takes 130 time units, and given that ideally all the enemies have been stunned by 150 time units, she should be able to get another turn before any other enemy gets another turn. And then if she was successful in killing someone with the Giga Time Strike, just one of these 4 units that she attacks would be enough. Then she can use the Savage Step Back, which also produces 3 spirit. So after that whole kind of draining skills from the previous 2, you would be back up in spirit a bit. And yeah, this puts her basically next in line to reinforcements, and she can use that skill even if there are no reinforcements left, because then it will just add Den Morris to fill up the battlefield, so she can actually go back to the reinforcements. Den Morris are these kind of 60% auto guards with stun absorption. Of course, as the name says, Savage Step Back, she needs a kill to actually use this skill. But why is that step back so good potentially? On the one hand, after that step back, she can use the Chrono Chaos again, because it becomes locked. It can only be used once per the time that she is on the battlefield. And on the other hand, she can make use of one of her passives with her entry. And that entry is the stun heal entry. It stuns 2 random enemies for 150 time units, so that is already quite a lot, and it heals her completely. So similar to the step back from Bright Ludmilla, she will go onto the battlefield with 100% HP again, no matter how she left it. That's a pretty simple skill, but then we have another new passive, which is Timeline Distortion. And this one is pretty big in my eyes. After each enemy turn, there is a 50% chance for negative status effects like sleep, burn or poison to be removed from one random ally that has a negative status effect. Of course, what that immediately means is that she will not be able to be used well in a burn team, but that is kind of a given with that kind of stun storm unit moveset. She enters the battle with a poison ward, a sleep ward, a stun ward and endure. So notably the only ward that is missing here is the burn ward, which is not that good for her because she only has that endure. So if a strong burn attack hits her, then she might be bye-bye. So that was a first look at the skills of the new ChronoRolotia. I will dive deeper into the AI of the new unit, into the arena potential, into what tier I think she will go to in my next video. But for now, we can already see that she could be quite the strong sleep counter, but she would of course struggle against the burn team, especially if there's a lot of stun immunities around. She can pretty much only unlock the Savage Step Back with her Giga's Time Strike, because that is the only skill that directly applies damage. And while part of her skill set lends itself to the kind of one copy support play that we saw with the original ChronoRolotia, the second and the third skill are such big spirit drains that I'm not quite sure, and especially she kind of needs to be a bit stronger to actually get the kills, to use the Savage Step Back. I mean, it is an attack that hits also. She could also get lucky and hit an enemy that is already at like 1 HP from hold ground, but more power would probably help her out a lot. That said, even with her super low speed, I mean, she has a lot of wards that hopefully keep her alive till she gets the turn, and hopefully has 3 spirit at that time to use the Chrono Chaos. Even if that's not the case, straight away when she gets to the battlefield, her second passive, the Timeline Distortion, and the kind of Purify on each enemy turn with a 50% chance on someone from your team is something that can help straight away, long before she can even get a turn. Don't forget to like and subscribe to become a true carrot, and as always, thanks for watching.